Alright, so I wanted to do a pen, but I wanted to do it slightly different. So I had a look around online for different wooden pens and things. And I came across the shape of one that I liked. So I thought, right, I'll get a fountain pen kit, and I think this is the gentleman's fountain pen kit. It's the bigger one, not the gentleman junior kit. And it was the bigger one, which I'm not struck on anyway. It's too big. But I thought I've got a couple of them kits, so I'll use them to do this job. So I thought, right, I'll have a look at this pen shape that I like, and it's beautiful and it's well made, and the nib and all that looks high quality. But it was over €800 to buy, handmade on your lathe, just like we do, but €800. I couldn't believe it, and it got me a bit annoyed, to be honest. Anyway, so I thought, right, I'm gonna try and make something inspired by that shape, shall we say, and this is what I've come up with. See what you think. This one costs about £5. Right, so because I'm not using the full kit, all I'm using is the kind of middle bit of the kit. So I'm using the nib and the brass tubes, and obviously the bits that the nib go into, and in the pen top, and it's going to be closed ends on both ends, so the drilling doesn't go all the way through. So this blank easy, I'm sewing it off. That's like a solid end. I've tidied up that end, trimmed it off a bit, so I've got perfect flush brass finish there. But the other end is closed. Right. Now that is, I think, the pen top bit. This is the pen itself, the pen barrel, same sort of thing. Just finding the centre to give the drill a chance, and then I'm going to drill that out. Okay, so here's where I'm just going to, I think, put some glue on the blank. Now I use my pen press parts that I built for the lathe to push the brass tube in. A few times I've tried to just push them in by hand and they stop halfway and glue up. So using the lathe like a bit of a ram, that ensures that the brass tube goes in seated pretty well. And I think it nearly stuck on the, it did. It stuck on the ram bit. Anyway, right, I'm just sprinkling on some fine sawdust which I collect from the bandsaw. When I put the brass tube in, I thought, right, there's a little bit of a gap between that and the hole I drilled, so that just filled it a bit. Works really well. There's obviously super glue there, and when I tidy this up, it'll look fine. I'm just going to tidy up that end of that, the brass tube and the wood join. The tool I'm using is that one I made with the 5% cobalt HSS bit. It's brilliant. You want to try and get one of them with dead cheap, It's absolutely superb. So there it is, nice and tidied up. I needed to check for depth. Obviously, because it's closed end, I don't know exactly where that brass finishes, or at least where the drilled hole finishes. So I'm just checking. Just put a little mark on the wood here, so I know when I shape this pen, the end that I shape to needs to be beyond that black line. Old-fashioned parting tool. Now for this, because the blanks have got a closed end, the normal mandrel I would use, pen mandrel, won't be any good, because that obviously goes right through the blank, held in the chuck and in the tail. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting in some jaws to hold a piece of timber, which I'll turn down to be like a jam chuck. Alright, so I've brought up the tailstock there. It's just pressing that blank, using the rough and gouge to get this to cylinder, and then we'll start shaping it. That's the latest quick release chisel I've made there. It's a smaller skew, really sharp. I've just sharpened it up, and I'm using it to get a nice shape and cut to this blank. I needed to make sure that, because we're not using the normal mandrel with the bushings, I needed to keep checking that this is the diameter of that end, so that it matched up with the few parts of the pen kit that I was still going to use. So here I'm just shaping down to the point of the closed end. Remember, this blank is the actual pen barrel, just sanding it off, going through the grits. Obviously it's not in this video, but typical sort of stuff. And I'll be finishing it with oil, wax and friction polish. So there you go, it's looking pretty good. Nice grain, very smooth. Turned out alright, that bit.
Last year, the pro-independence Catalan government began an unprecedented plan to excavate the mass graves in the region. And despite direct rule from Madrid, that plan continues. But some fear it will further divide the country. That's digging up the past in Catalan.
Accused of using data gathered from 50 million Facebook users to help Donald Trump's president. Psyops being shorthanded.
So what I'm just pushing in here from the pen kit is the bit which is the threads for the pen nib. So just pushing those in using the lathe.
He told the MPs that AIQ had told him that they had targeted up to 7 million people and blasted them with ads. Labour MP Julie Elliott turned to the question of campaign spending during the EU referendum. To get a common result, or do you think they were all working separately? Christopher Wiley was certain that they had worked together.
I am absolutely convinced that there was a common plan and common quote, which
Well, I think that's pretty good.
I remember Jeff Sylvester telling me this. It was, quote, totally illegal. But they found it amusing because you have to remember that this is a company that has gone
Now
around
for the lid.
world and undermined democratic
The top.
institutions in all kinds of countries, right? They could care less as to whether...
So pretty much identical to doing the pen bit, the lid, exactly the same. I haven't put it in the video. We're up to obviously applying the friction polish and finishing it up. So again, for the pen top, there's one little bit that gets pushed into here. As you know, I'm not using the pen clip at the other end, so they're kind of spare parts, whatever. And there it is. So there's my pen, inspired by a shape of one I saw online. Can't afford the one online, that's €800. This one looks pretty good, and it's about £5. Obviously the workings of the nib and the other hardware are not of the quality of what I saw, but it's still a nice pen. I'm pretty pleased with it.
planes are tossing on the ocean,